Now, Vae Victus on blue side, their roster will be Sergeant Pepper, captain, followed by picks from Et Omnia Vanitas, Mile High Life, and Frosted Cookie. Et Omnia, notable player for this squad. This guy is mega veteran status here in Draft Labs. This guy's been around for longer than pretty much anyone that you'll ever see here in Draft Labs. It doesn't matter who you see, he has been here for longer than they have, so he knows us better than most. I mean, he was here back when I was streaming and playing, before I was doing tournaments, before I was shotcasting. This is like a year ago. This guy's been around for a long time, so big shout out to Et Omnia, and we don't get to see him too much anymore because Vae Victus has had such a restricted schedule. Wow, these bands went down really fast. Oh my goodness. And then on red side, God Squad, Eddie the God, Broadskin, Erebus 12, and Andrew the God. This is their usual roster. Another note is that the God Squad right now they're on the come up. These guys are 4-0 in the Draft Labs tournament series. They 2-0'd their first 2 sets here. This is a big team, but like I said, they like to play long. They like to play long games, and that's not going to work well for us considering the first set ended up going so late. Alright, you guys, so the first lock-in is Sergeant Pepper taking his Varus. You're going to see his chart come up in the center of your screen. This is our Style Stats Team Composition Strength Calculator, and what it will do is generate 2 shapes, one for each team, red for red, blue for blue, and those shapes will help us compare the strengths of each squad based on these 6 criteria: Disengage, Engage, Nuke, Wave Clear, Siege, and Poke. We had Eddie the God also locking his Lux, and Broadskin taking Jinx. Now is finally a good opportunity for me to go over these bands. From Sergeant Pepper, he took out Fiddlesticks, Zareth, and Kog'Maw, 3 power bands. And then from the God Squad, Galio, Morgana, Janna. These are educated bands here from both sides. We have Galio, who is a big pick here for Vae Victus. Sergeant Pepper loves his Galio. He will play it if it's available all the time. And God Squad definitely doing some research and figuring out what champions Sergeant Pepper and Vae Victus like to pick. Now the next 2 picks from Vae Victus are going to be Et Omnia playing this Scion. That's another big pick for Vae Victus. They love this champion. Et Omnia has performed really well on the past with this. He played it against Team AMAM, and they ended up taking Team AMAM to a long game, but AMAM still ended up coming out on top in that one. Also, Mile High Life taking the Ezreal. Big picks coming out so far. Now, the advantage for the God Squad is that they have a lot of really skilled players individually, and these guys have been playing together for quite some time. You know, they're one of the more organized, one of the more synergizing teams, but individually, these are all, you know, we're talking gold 1 or higher players. In between gold 1 and I think gold 1 and diamond 5 is their highest rank. Gold 1 is their lowest rank. So their average is about plat 3 right now. So individually, these guys all know how to play the game and know how to adapt. Last 2 picks for the God Squad are going to be Erebus taking his Alistair and Andrew the God on his Orianna. There's wombo combo potential right there, and we've seen them take this squad as well. This combo, we've seen them take it before, and they really liked it, and they worked out really well for them. Last pick, Frosted Cookie taking the Caitlyn. Frosted Cookie also really prefers the Caitlyn. She prefers the ADC. She is definitely the AD carry for this squad. And right now, both teams coming out very symmetrical. Our Style Stats Team Composition Strength Calculator is all finished up. These are all 8 champions inside of the charts here, and both charts looking very similar. I guess I gotta kind of like calm myself down. Everything started so quickly. I gotta get my whatchamacallit. I gotta get my heart rate down a little bit. What's up, Sector? Welcome back, man. How are the games? The games are fantastic, man. We had a great set going for our first set. This next one's going to be a really good one as well. I'm looking forward to seeing these two teams duke it out. We have Vae Victus, who are very in tune with the ADAM meta. They know which champions are good. They know which bands are good. And then we have God Squad, who are a newer team, but are very individually skilled. And in this specific case, you can see that the God Squad actually ended up coming out with a higher composition score with their build than Vae Victus did. Now, Vae Victus, they're bringing more of a standard composition, but both teams looking very similar. 3 range champions with 1 tank. And in the last set, we had a three-match set. Did end up going to a. I still haven't figured out what they call it in Dota 2, what their term is for a third match in a best of 3. God, it's called like a kill match or something like that. Either way, it's a cool word, and I really gotta figure it out. I gotta go find that one VOD to figure out what the guy said, because it was awesome, and I want to start using it. I want to copy him. But if we take a look at our Style Stats Team Composition Strength Calculator in the center of the screen, you'll see that both teams taking very similar squads, just as we saw from the champions. Only advantages going right now in favor of of the God Squad are in disengage. They have a little bit extra disengage, and that's coming from Alistair. He's a fantastic disengager, and really there is only one person that he's going to need to disengage here. So the Alistair was a good pick. Usually Alistair is a little bit in over his head if you go against a team that has more than one engager. But considering that Scion's really the only one who's going to want to run into the backlines of the enemy team, Alistair's going to have a pretty easy time here. Whereas there's two advantages coming over in favor of Vae Victus. They're very slight, but they are advantages nonetheless. Poke and wave clear. This is what we would expect to see from them, considering the fact that they've taken 3 pokers, you could say, whereas the Orianna isn't quite as much of a poker as the Lux and the Jinx are. She's simply just kind of like a team fight presence. She adds a lot of really great synergy with the Alistair, but she also adds a lot of really great crowd control, AoE damage to the team fights. So I'd say she's more oriented towards the big fights in the middle stages of the game as we transition away from that laning phase after a couple of towers get dropped. And then on Vae Victus, they're more oriented towards getting the towers down, sticking with the laning phase for as long as possible, and just drilling down the towers one after another and getting them down as quickly as possible. I think the Jinx pickup here is the most important one in the game right now. Broad skin on his Jinx. The reason I say that is because Jinx is a champion that Vae Victus definitely would have been looking for their last pick here. Caitlyn, she's a great sieger, but if she is able to, she's just a good sieger under duress. She's a good sieger while the enemy team is there. If the enemy team is not there, then Jinx is much better at siege. As long as Jinx can hit the tower without any sort of crowd control on her or any sort of threat from the enemy team, she can drop towers like it's nobody's business. And with this team fight oriented composition, the AoE damage from Orianna, the great sniping potential coming out from Lux, she's going to get her resets and she's going to be able to clean up after the team fights and is going to be able to most likely at some point in this match get that opportunity to hit the towers uncontested and most likely take 1, 2, maybe even, I don't know, who knows, 3, maybe even 3 at one time off of a team fight victory. So that's going to be a really big thing for them here. Now, as is tradition here in the Draft Labs tournament series for most games, if I finish up talking and when we get into our loading screen, I do what we call the skin MVP. I look at our skins and I tell you guys which one is my favorite, and I award whichever champion has my favorite skin the skin MVP. What we're looking at so far is an Explorer Ezreal, Headhunter Caitlyn, Unchained Alistair, and Steel Legion Lux. Now, my thoughts so far are that Steel Legion Lux and Unchained Alistair, we see those two all the time. You know, those two, I don't even consider them skins, because Steel Legion Lux is the only Lux skin that's ever played, and Unchained Alistair is free for everybody, so everybody has it. All you gotta do is like them on Facebook, if I'm not mistaken. Whereas we have the Explorer Ezreal and the Headhunter Caitlyn. Between those two, it's tough to say. I'm leaning towards the Headhunter Caitlyn, but I really like the Explorer Ezreal. And the reason I say that is because that's just one of those skins for Ezreal that's like old. It's an oldie but a goodie. He's wearing a hat, man. It's like Ezreal with a hat on. That's awesome. That's even better than the Pulsefire Ezreal skin in my opinion. So as of right now, it's between Frosted Cookie and Mile High Life. I'm gonna have to give it up to Mile High Life on the Ezreal for taking the Explorer Ezreal. And the reason I say this is because it's not a skin we see very often on Ezreal. We see the it's just like the Steel Legion Lux and the Unchained Alistair. We see all 3 of these skins really often. The Headhunter Caitlyn, everybody's got it. Everybody plays it if they get the Caitlyn. Whereas the Explorer Ezreal, you got to kind of make an investment to Ezreal if you want to get that skin. You want to be able to play it. It's kind of obscure. So congratulations to Mile High Life for snagging my skin MVP. Now, early game going very similar on both sides, except for the fact that all 4 members of the God Squad are actually making it in before Vae Victus are. You would expect that they'd be able to get more damage off, but look at Mile High Life. He's forced out his flash and his heal right away. Big, heavy damage and nice crowd control coming out from the God Squad instantaneously. They're actually able to focus Mile High Life down before he can Arcane Shift away, forces both of his summoner spells off of an Ezreal. That's kind of a big thing, especially this early. I think that if he's caught out again, he's going to be able to get taken down. And the thing about that is that you might be able to say, you might think, well, he's Ezreal and he still has his Arcane Shift, so he might be able to get away from any other situation. Whoa, Andrew the God, now he's locked down. He's forced out of his own flash. Sergeant Pepper's looking for the execution. He doesn't find it because the shields are massive. He ends up getting away with his life. No first blood given thus yet. Now, what I was mentioning about Mile High Life is that he cannot use his Arcane Shift aggressively anymore because he doesn't have that flash available to him to disengage in case he gets caught out. If he wants to jump forward and position himself really aggressively for a Q or something like that, he can't because Erebus is going to be there to capitalize. Hat wins every time, dude. Daxman, Hat wins every time, bro. Every time. I love that Explorer Ezreal skin, man. I really do. It's one of my favorite Ezreal skins. I mean, the Pulsefire Ezreal is dope. You gotta give some props to the Pulsefire Ezreal because it's awesome. But as of right now, you gotta roll with the hat. You gotta go with the hat. Sergeant Pepper on his Varus is going to be a big factor in this early game as well. Now, that's what really tips them over the top in terms of their poke. Caitlyn's poke is okay as long as you can hit it. Ezreal's early game poke is phenomenal, but Sergeant Pepper, his poke is going to be awesome throughout the entirety of this game, as long as you have the mana for it. And as of right now, he's forcing himself into using his mana pots right away. He used his E early just to try to get some big damage down, and that's the difference maker for a Varus as to whether or not you have mana as you transition over into the level 6, level 7 stages of the match, is whether or not you were in position to actually be able to use that, is the W or the E? I think it's the E, the hail of arrows or whatever, yeah, I think it's called hail of arrows or something like that. The blood arrows, we'll call them. There's a Clarity out, though. Who's running Clarity? It's actually Sergeant Pepper running Clarity, so he gets himself back a little bit of mana off of that one as well. He's just going for a full early game oriented build. He just wants to get as much damage down as possible. He hasn't really been able to capitalize. You can see him missing another Q. He wasn't able to pick up that early kill on Andrew the God, which really would have tipped him over the scales here, and he has been unable to get too much damage down thus far. Wave clear mainly for wave clear for the God Squad is mainly coming from Orianna, and we need to see her using more spells to do so. You can see her finally throwing that ball up close to make sure that she can get those minion waves cleared out, whereas whoa, there's going to be a double stun. Andrew the God, he's kind of really far forward. If they have something to take him down, they should be able to do so, but Sergeant Pepper ends up getting locked down clutchily by Erebus, and he's unable to capitalize with his Q. He probably would have been able to pick up a kill there. He had plenty of time, but Erebus doing a great job of disrupting. That was a disrupting engage, and still no first blood being given over. Sergeant Pepper, another Q missed. And Omnia Vanitas is trying to zone out, but they still just aren't quite having the opportunities they need to hit this tower early. They have this kind of triple AD comp, you can say. We can expect that Ezreal is going to be building AP here, but they do have this triple Sieger comp that should be able to take down these towers really quickly. But they haven't been given the opportunity, and it's a really great play from God Squad to be able to do so with minimal wave clear. Broad Squid takes a Q. Now Rebus is looking for a headbutt onto Ed Omnia. He finds it. Ed Omnia is also looking for a stun. He finds a couple. Eddie the God taken fairly low. The damage is going heavily in favor of Vae Victus right now, though, because they do have that poke advantage. Sergeant Pepper, that might be a triple Q right there. It is. He hits all three members, spreads that damage really well, but Andrew the God threw out a clutch shield and negated a lot of it. Rain of Arrows is E. Ah, I see. You got Pulsefire Ezreal and a Mystery Gift? Damn, that's pretty dope, man. Lucky you. And there's just too much pressure coming out from Sergeant Pepper right now. He's been able to keep his mana up. He's forced to go back now and snag some relics just to get the mana back, but right now's the downtime. The timing of him running backwards to snag that relic was really good because he was actually able to do it while there was no minions there. There was no opportunity to siege. Now he's going to be coming back with the mana he needs, and this next siege might be a big one as well. We could possibly see a tower dive from Ed Omnia Vanitas. We could see some more poke coming out from Varus, maybe the first kill of the game going out in favor of the Varus here, and they're also going to get some good damage being dropped here onto the tower as well. Nice wave clear there from Eddie the God, man. He used every little bit of damage he could have gotten out of that Orianna combo, and he actually cleared out those backline minions in one move. That's performance labs for you guys, man. That's performance labs. Level 6s are going to be coming soon. No deaths. Both level 6s are going to be hit really quick, but blue side are going to get theirs. They're going to get theirs a little bit faster. They should be getting it just about right now. This wave should be the level 6. There's the level 6s almost all the way around. Et Omnia has his first. Whoa, Mile High Life doesn't get his for some reason. I'm not sure why not. And the level 6 is now being dropped here. Alistar gets his first, and the first tower is dropping. Mile High Life, right as soon as he gets his ultimate, he throws it out, gets the kill into Orianna, and the first tower falls in favor of Vae Victus. The God Squad haven't really been able to make much happen here. Andrew the God gets taken down, more ultimates falling. Ed Omnia tower dives. Erebus is locked down. He's forced out of his own ultimate, but he doesn't have the mana to pop it. He gets taken down. Now Ed Omnia is underneath the tower, but he's still fairly healthy. Nice zap from Jinx into an ultimate, picks up that kill, but Broadskin really can't make much more of it. Ed Omnia just goes right back onto the tower, and this damage is actually going to be really heavy. Still uncontested siege. Nice two-man ultimate for Eddie the God. Picks up one kill. And now it's the chase. Jinx flashes forward. Doesn't find anything from it, though, except for a little bit of gap close. Even flashing forward to try to get a kill on a Mile High Life on his Ezreal. Not the best idea here. Nice snipe, though, from Andrew the God, even through the relic. Snags him a kill. This is a bloodbath so far. Things really turned up right after that first tower ended up going down. A lot of kills now. God Squad turn things back around, get 3 kills in their own favor, and they're looking to make a big siege here, but the death timers are still fairly low, so I don't see too much potential for them to get this tower down. They need to get toward that 15-16 minute marker where they actually have the damage on Jinx and the damage on Orianna to be able to pick up multi-kills and to be able to get that ace so Jinx can siege uncontested. So as of right now, the early game advantage going in favor of the poking and wave clearing squad, not surprising. Not surprising at all. But as we reach that mid-game point where Jinx can actually get those aces, Jinx can force those aces out of the enemy team, we could see this game busted wide open where Jinx is able to take down 1, 2, maybe even 3 towers at one time and could even things up really quickly. Alistar body blocks that Caitlyn ultimate. He's not really, doesn't really take much damage for it, and both teams fairly healthy at this point. It's just that Vae Victus are being put into that position they really like again. Eddie the God moves forward to try to get the combo down on Sgt. Pepper. He finds it, but Erebus knocks Pepper back instead of knocking him up. Now, advantage Vae Victus once again, and the damage from Sgt. Pepper is massive right now. He goes back, snags himself a bit of sustain and a bit of armor penetration. And this could be the second tower down. Only 7 minutes in, this is exactly what Vae Victus want. They want to get as much as they possibly can before this nice mid-game power spike that's going to be hit from the Alistar and the Jinx. And unfortunately, right now, they just aren't taking enough counter damage. They aren't taking enough damage while they're sieging on these towers in order for the God Squad to contest. Now, the Vae Victus, that is, are not taking enough damage for the God Squad to contest. And you can see that Varus is just a huge factor here. Eddie the God lockdown, taken out by Et Omnia Vanitas. Erebus unable to disengage for him there. Nice ultimate from Andrew the God. He gets a lot of damage down, but Sgt. Pepper was already charging up his Q. He gets an easy one off as Lux throws out her own ultimate, and this should be the second tower going down now as well in favor of Vae Victus. They might not, the God Squad might not ever end up hitting this power spike that they want to have. Broadskin, forced out of a heal, still ends up going down. Mile High Life capitalizing on that really well. Mile High Life has been a great Ezreal player in the west. We haven't seen the Wombo combo drop either from Eddie the God and the Orianna and Erebus 12 on the Alistar. This might be an inhibitor going down as well. Et Omnia, he's plenty tanky to make this one happen, and there's a lot of siegers coming out from Vae Victus. They should be able to get this inhibitor down, and at 8 minutes and 46 seconds, it might be GG. They snag another kill. Alistar drops. Et Omnia is a huge force to be reckoned with right now, causing so much destruction in the front lines. Mile High Life, he's locked down. That could be a kill. That is going to be the first one. Broadskin gets the excited, gets the reset, ends up getting locked down though, but the shields from Andrew the God negate a lot of damage here. Broadskin still taken extremely low, and that's 1 Q from Sgt. Pepper away from death. A couple of more deaths here for the God Squad, and it could be GG. This could be one big push similar to what we had in the last match, except for this one's going quicker. Now there's super minions pushing, and only 9 minutes in, the super minions are a bit too strong for the God Squad to handle. They have to delay this somehow, and they have to get themselves into that mid-game power spike where they can get those resets. Now's not a bad opportunity for them. We need the Jinx ultimate, and we need the Jinx to get excited off of a reset. Erebus, he's plenty tanky to be in that front line, but there isn't still too much to be had from them. Et Omnia is just playing too well on his Scion. There's the first kill going to Sgt. Pepper. This guy's making pick after pick after pick, and he's allowing his team to consistently be forward and consistently play aggressive. Everything is traded for. Everything is accounted for here as long as Sgt. Pepper is hitting his Qs. Nice double Q there coming out from Sgt. Pepper as well. He's low on mana now, you guys. I mean, he is 3, 1, and 4. He doesn't have much mana to his name. His clarity is going to be coming back up fairly soon, but he's got to get something. He's going back. He's going all the way back just to get all those relics that he possibly can, and now's a good opportunity for the God Squad after he does end up moving backwards to make something happen because he doesn't have any mana. You can see they're holding out. They can hold out as long as Sgt. Pepper doesn't have enough to throw down his Qs. The God Squad forced into a very defensive position here, but they just don't have the wave clear. Sion's wave clear is just way too much. Nice. Another kill for Sgt. Pepper. 4, 1, and 4 now. Nice 3-man ultimate coming out. That might be the big opportunity. Erebus goes in. He gets the knockup. Broadskin follows up with his own ultimate, but the damage still isn't quite high enough. That's another death now for the God Squad. Broadskin, he's taken down. Erebus, he's moving forward. He's trying to make big things happen, but Sgt. Pepper is just so much damage. And there's not enough. There's just not enough coming out from the God Squad right now. At Omnia, he does end up getting his passive popped, and he's sure he was looking for that one, but I'm sure he wasn't looking to get headbutted right after. He's going to go and get a little bit of damage onto the tower. And now the defense is going to start up once again. The God Squad, that being said, have been doing a really great job of defending these Nexus turrets. Giving up this kind of huge early game lead to a Varus poke squad, a Varus poke squad in combination with like a siege-oriented composition that we're seeing from Vae Victus, it's not the biggest surprise to me. But the defense that's coming out from the God Squad is phenomenal. They're keeping themselves alive. Nice combo on the Frosted Cookie as well. Frosted Cookie probably wanted to die there. 0, 1, and 6 now. 6 assists now for Frosted Cookie on the Caitlyn. 1 death, went back, straight up, bought an Infinity Edge. Man, that's pretty huge. And now's a decent opportunity for the God Squad. I mean, they've been holding out. We're now 12 minutes in. The flash forward from Ed Omni. He still doesn't get the stun off. Broadskin flashes. It did pull the flash, though, which is nice. A flash for a flash. Not bad. That power spike for the Varus, which he was just hitting at level 9 when he got level 5 in that spell, is over. He is now going to hit a plateau, and this is a great opportunity for the God Squad to make a comeback. Tony Hitoni asks, I'm wondering how many teams are in this tournament. There are quite a few. You're more than welcome to go check our website at stylelabs.com, or just scroll down into our panels. There you'll find our team stats button. You hit that and it'll take you to the team stats. On the team stats page, the 10 top teams are the only ones that are featured. Ooh, that's a lockdown. That's a nice lockdown on the Brodskin, but there is a wombo combo capitalization coming out from Erebus and Ed of the God. Ed of the God now low on mana. Not too much follow-up after that one. And Ed Omni Vanitas sets Ezreal up for a triple kill on his ultimate. And an ace coming out from Frosted Cookie as Cthron has the ultimate onto the last remaining member, who was in fact Eddie the God. And that should be the game here, you guys. A big ace, still 15 seconds left. The game's going to go down in 13 minutes. A very quick win here for Team Vae Victus, and it was all because they took such a huge early lead, and then were able to utilize that heavy tank from Ed Omni Vanitas, man. That Scion is the MVP of this game. He's the one who was keeping his team forward the entire time. He was constantly applying pressure. He was taking just as much damage as he needed to, but he was still putting out damage. But all at the same time, he was still wave clearing for his squad, because the wave clear from his team is good, but it really tips it over the scales when you add Scion into the mix. Really nice pick, and Scion has been a priority for Vae Victus, even more so than the Galio, because he's been banned out quite a few times. We can expect that the Varus and the Scion will not go through in the next match. Now, to continue on what I was telling Tony Hitoni, if you hit that team stats button, you'll find the top 10 teams and their win-loss ratios and their preferred playstyles on that chart, but there are more teams than that right now. I believe as of right now we have 13 teams that have played in the Draft Labs tournament series. Actually make that 14, as we just had a new team come in today.